Have you ever felt that sudden wave of panic, thinking a slip or fall could change your life forever? What if I told you a common household staple, milk, might be quietly undermining your bone strength and independence? Yes, milk, and in the next 30 seconds, I'm going to reveal the single biggest milk mistake that could be damaging your bones right now, even though you've been told it's healthy. Stay with me, because in this video you'll discover the 7 critical milk mistakes seniors must avoid to stay active, strong, and free after 50. If you're ready to safeguard your independence and avoid those dreaded hospital stays, type yes right now in the comments. It lets me know you're serious about protecting your bones and remaining active well into your golden years. Because every single one of these mistakes can lead to weak bones, unexpected slips, and long recovery times. But don't worry, right after I show you each mistake, I'll give you a simple fix so you can keep enjoying life, one strong step at a time. Let's dive straight into the first milk mistake seniors absolutely must avoid. Mistake number 1. Drinking too much whole milk. So many of us grew up with the idea that milk equals strong bones. We've been told since childhood that whole milk is the gold standard. It's creamy, it's filling, it's comforting. But if you're over 50, drinking too much whole milk, day in and day out, can silently push you toward a host of problems. One of the biggest concerns is the excess saturated fat found in whole milk, which can quietly contribute to weight gain, higher cholesterol, and even heart strain. All of these issues can lead you down the road of reduced mobility and independence. I've personally seen seniors in my 10 years as a podiatrist who say, "My bones feel weak, so I drink extra whole milk." But what they don't realize is that the extra fat and calories can result in gaining unwanted pounds. And guess what? Extra weight directly impacts your knees and hips, making you more likely to experience painful joints, slower movement, and, worst of all, increased risk of falls. After all, if each step is more painful, you're less likely to stay active, and that inactivity only snowballs into more muscle loss and stiffer joints. A 2021 study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that, while dairy can support calcium intake, excess consumption of high-fat dairy products is linked to higher BMI in older adults, which in turn weakens mobility. Another 2022 review in the Journal of Geriatric Cardiology underscored that saturated fats from whole dairy items contribute to cardiovascular risks that can quietly limit your energy and make everyday tasks feel more challenging. The consequences include increased fall risk, since weight gain around your midsection throws off your balance and can lead to accidental slips, the very thing seniors dread the most. Another consequence is strained heart health, as too much saturated fat can affect your heart function, leading to shortness of breath, fatigue, and eventually less desire to stay active. Additionally, extra pounds put enormous stress on ankles, knees, and hips, exacerbating arthritis or joint pain. If you can't move comfortably, you risk losing the ability to live on your own terms. Driving, strolling around the neighborhood, even climbing stairs can become a challenge. And that's where independence can slip through our fingers before we even realize it. Now, please don't think you had to give up milk altogether. The solution is about balance and moderation. If you love whole milk, consider these steps. Limit serving size by swapping out that tall glass for a smaller 6 to 8 ounce portion, once or twice a day. Blend with lower fat options, by mixing half whole milk with half 2% or 1% milk, so you still get the creaminess. Cut back on saturated fat. Choose low-fat or skim milk if your doctor has expressed concerns about your cholesterol or weight, which can drastically reduce your saturated fat intake. And stay active by pairing your milk habit with gentle exercises, like a daily 15-minute walk or simple chair exercises to keep your weight in check and your bones strong. In a moment, I'll explain which type of flavored milk can secretly pack more sugar than a can of soda, so stick with me. Because that sugary culprit might be even more harmful than the saturated fats we've just discussed. Mistake number 2. Ignoring hidden sugars in flavored milks. Picture this. You grab a chocolate or strawberry milk as a healthy snack, believing it's just milk with a splash of flavor. But did you know many of these flavored milks have as much sugar as soda? When you're over 50, excessive sugar is a serious threat to not just your waistline, but also your bones and overall strength. Why? High sugar intake can promote inflammation, disrupt your energy levels, and even accelerate bone loss over time. Worst of all, the sugar surge can push you to become more sedentary. Sapped energy often means you're not moving as much, which leads to muscle deterioration and a higher risk of falls. In 20 seconds, I'll tell you how to identify hidden sugars on labels, so you don't get tricked next time you're at the grocery store. A 2023 study from the National Institute on Aging concluded that older adults who consistently exceed recommended sugar intake often face higher levels of systemic inflammation, tying directly to arthritis flare-ups and diminished bone density. Combine that with the extra calories from flavored milk, and you could be walking a fine line toward weight gain and metabolic problems. The consequences include spikes in blood sugar. If you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, those hidden sugars can wreak havoc, potentially leading to complications that make daily living more difficult. Excess sugar fosters inflammation, which can make your joints stiffer and more painful, limiting your freedom of movement. After the sugar high, you crash. That can mean feeling sluggish, avoiding exercise, and gradually losing muscle tone. And for seniors, energy is gold. You need steady energy to stay active, do your chores, go for walks, and keep up with the grandchildren. When sugar saps your energy, you're left at a higher risk of that dreaded fall, or that frightening trip to the hospital, because your muscles aren't responding the way they should. The simple fix is to read labels thoroughly. Look for terms like cane sugar, corn syrup, fructose, or even evaporated cane juice. They all mean added sugar. Aim for flavored milk with no more than 5 to 7 grams of added sugar per serving. You can also DIY flavor by stirring a teaspoon of unsweetened cocoa into low-fat milk, then adding just a sprinkle of sweetener if needed. Alternatively, if you crave that sweet, chocolatey taste, have a small 4-ounce serving of flavored milk and then top it off with plain milk to cut down overall sugar. Another method is to carefully use sugar substitutes. A tiny amount of a natural sweetener like stevia can add flavor without spiking blood sugar, but be mindful of how these sweeteners affect your digestion. Coming up, I'll show you a surprising milk mistake that involves milk timing. Did you know simply drinking milk at the wrong time of day can mess with your sleep, and even your bone health? That's mistake number 3, so don't go anywhere. Mistake number 3. Drinking milk too late at night. Mistake number 3 is drinking milk too late at night or too close to bedtime. Seniors are often told that a warm glass of milk before bed helps with sleep. But the hidden truth is that milk can disrupt your night's rest if it's too heavy, or if you have certain digestive sensitivities. Without restful sleep, your body can't properly repair muscles and bones. A night of tossing and turning quickly leads to grogginess the next day, which means you're more prone to slips, trips, and serious falls. Sleep is crucial because it's during this restful period that your bones rebuild themselves. Studies show that our bones remodel primarily at night, and if your sleep quality is poor, your body doesn't get the chance to complete these essential repairs. Drinking milk too late can also trigger digestive troubles, especially if you're lactose intolerant or even slightly sensitive. Bloating, gas, or acid reflux can keep you awake. Additionally, drinking milk right before bed can increase the likelihood of nighttime bathroom visits. Navigating in the dark while half asleep significantly raises your risk of stumbling, falling, or bumping into furniture. In my practice, I met a 68-year-old named Tom who loved his big glass of milk at 10 p.m. every night. After a while, Tom started complaining of constant heartburn and disrupted sleep. He felt tired all day, making him less stable on his feet. We switched Tom's milk habit to earlier in the evening, around 7 p.m., and guess what? He slept better, felt more energetic, and had a reduced risk of nighttime falls. The consequences of disrupted sleep from drinking milk too close to bedtime are serious. Chronic lack of quality sleep weakens your immune system, making you more susceptible to frequent colds or infections. Poor sleep also contributes directly to bone deterioration, as your body needs deep sleep cycles to release hormones that maintain bone density. Furthermore, tired seniors have slower reflexes, which can become disastrous if you trip or slip unexpectedly. Fortunately, the fix is simple. Move your milk consumption to earlier in the evening, ideally 2 or 3 hours before bed. If acid reflux or digestive upset is the issue, opting for lactose-free or plant-based milks, like almond or oat, can be gentler on your stomach. If you must have milk right before bed, limit your serving to half a cup to prevent excessive fluid intake that could trigger multiple bathroom trips. Pairing a small portion of milk with a few whole grain crackers or a banana slice is also beneficial if you're concerned about low blood sugar overnight, but avoid a heavy, full glass right before lying down. In just a few seconds, I'll share a shocking truth about certain non-dairy milk alternatives that might be doing more harm than good, especially if you think you're getting enough calcium. That's coming up next in mistake number 4. Mistake number 4. Assuming all non-dairy milks are created equal. We often hear that almond milk, soy milk, and oat milk are healthier than dairy. But not all non-dairy milks are as beneficial as they seem. Some are heavily processed, lacking in protein or calcium, and loaded with thickeners, gums, and artificial flavors. If you switch to the wrong plant-based milk, you risk missing out on the essential nutrients your bones and muscles desperately need after 50, like calcium, vitamin D, and adequate protein. Think about it. If your bones aren't getting enough calcium over time, they can become more porous and brittle. That sets you up for falls that cause fractures, a terrifying scenario for anyone who values their independence. Even a single hip fracture can result in months of rehab, or worse, the loss of your ability to walk unaided. According to a 2022 review in the Journal of Bone and Mineral Research, not all non-dairy milks provide enough bone-supporting nutrients. Soy milk, if fortified correctly, can be a good source of calcium and protein. Almond milk can be too low in protein for older adults. Oat milk can be high in carbs. Some brands artificially boost their product with added vitamins, but the absorption might differ from what you get naturally from dairy, or well-chosen fortified versions. The consequences include weakened bones and muscles. Missing out on calcium and protein can lead to lower bone density and muscle mass over time. Hidden additives like gums and stabilizers in some plant-based milks can cause digestive discomfort, bloating, or even inflammation in sensitive individuals. Additionally, there's a false sense of security, where you might drink a lot of a certain plant-based milk thinking you're covered, while in reality, you could be severely short on the nutrients that protect your skeleton. I once worked with a 73-year-old named Patricia, who switched from dairy to a popular almond milk brand. She assumed it was healthier because it was plant-based. After 6 months, Patricia developed unexpected bone density issues. We checked the label and found her almond milk had minimal calcium and almost zero protein. Once she switched to a fortified soy milk with 8 grams of protein per serving, her bone density stabilized, and she felt more energetic overall. The simple fix is to check the nutrition label. Look for plant-based milks fortified with at least 20–30% of your daily calcium and vitamin D in each serving, aiming for around 7–8 grams of protein per cup if possible. Avoid excess additives by scanning for carrageenan, artificial flavors, or a long list of gums, as these can irritate your gut. Consider rotating your options between soy milk, pea protein-based milk, and a well-fortified almond or oat milk, to ensure you get a variety of nutrients without overloading on one type of additive. If you're concerned about calcium, speak with your doctor about supplements, but don't rely on them blindly. Your body often absorbs nutrients best when they come from food. Up next, I'll uncover mistake number 5, which is so common among seniors, who believe they're doing their bones a favor by stocking up on extra vitamin D milk. You might be shocked by how timing and dosage can turn this into a problem. Stick around, because the answer might surprise you. Mistake number 5. Overloading on extra fortified milk. We're always told that vitamin D and calcium are crucial for bone health. That's absolutely true, but more isn't always better. Some brands market double fortified or ultra fortified milks with extremely high levels of vitamin D, calcium, or even added vitamin A. When you start drinking multiple glasses of these heavily fortified milks daily, or combine them with supplements, you could accidentally overdo certain nutrients. And yes, even vitamins and minerals can become harmful in excess. For example, vitamin D toxicity, while rare, can lead to hypercalcemia, a condition where too much calcium circulates in your blood. This can cause kidney stones, confusion, and even heart rhythm issues. That's not the path to independence, that's a path to hospital beds and repeated doctor visits. A 2023 study from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism showed that older adults who consistently exceed recommended vitamin D intake are at a higher risk for hypercalcemia. Oversupplementation was the main culprit. Combine that with super fortified milks, and the total daily vitamin D can skyrocket. The end result? Potential harm to your bones, not help. The consequences are serious. Excess calcium means your kidneys have to work overtime to filter it out, upping the chance of stones and painful complications. Ironically, too much vitamin A, for instance, can disrupt bone remodeling, making bones more prone to fractures. Overconfidence can also become a problem. If you think, I'm getting all the nutrients I need, so I don't need to watch my diet, you could be missing out on other crucial vitamins and minerals from whole foods. A patient of mine, Janet, age 62, was so focused on strengthening her bones that she'd drink up to 4 cups of ultra-fortified milk daily, plus a vitamin D supplement. She began experiencing fatigue, frequent urination, and even mild confusion. Her blood tests revealed calcium levels that were off the charts. Once we dialed back her intake of fortified milk and regulated her supplements, under a doctor's supervision, her symptoms resolved. But it was a wake-up call. The simple fix is knowing your numbers. Consult your doctor to see if you actually need high-dose vitamin D, as blood tests can measure your levels accurately. Always read fortification amounts on labels. If the label says 50% or more of the daily value for vitamin D, be mindful of how many servings you consume in a day. Balance your nutrient intake with whole foods. Instead of relying solely on milk for nutrients, include leafy greens, beans, nuts, and small servings of lean meat or fish for a broad nutritional base. Use supplements wisely, too. If you're taking a multivitamin plus an additional calcium and vitamin D supplement, check with your healthcare provider to avoid doubling or tripling up. Next, mistake number 6 reveals how certain senior medications, maybe even ones you are taking, can clash with milk in a way that lowers your bone health. Don't miss it, because it could be the difference between stable strength and a devastating fracture. Mistake number 6. Mixing the wrong medications with milk. Mistake number 6 is mixing the wrong medications with milk. Raise your hand if you've ever washed down your pills with a gulp of milk. It seems harmless, even comforting, right? Unfortunately, some common medications, from certain antibiotics to thyroid hormones, don't play well with the calcium in milk. Calcium can bind to these medications, reducing your body's ability to absorb them properly. And if those meds aren't doing their job, you could be left vulnerable to infections, poorly managed thyroid levels, or other conditions that chip away at your independence. In 15 seconds, I'll share a real-life story of someone who unknowingly sabotaged their treatment because of this exact mistake. This issue is especially important for seniors because, as we age, we often rely on multiple prescriptions, blood pressure meds, bone density meds, antibiotics, or thyroid hormones, so the chance for interaction goes way up. Additionally, seniors have slower metabolism, meaning your body isn't as quick to process and correct these mistakes, causing the effects of poor absorption to linger. Worse yet, these setbacks often happen silently. You might not realize your medication isn't working until it's too late, such as when you experience a worsening infection or a sudden drop in bone density. For example, I once knew a 67-year-old gentleman named Robert, who was taking thyroid medication. He always took it first thing in the morning with a tall glass of milk, thinking he was being healthy. But regular blood tests showed his thyroid levels were not improving. His doctor discovered the milk was reducing the medication's absorption, effectively canceling out the benefits. After switching to water for his pills, Robert's thyroid numbers started moving in the right direction. The consequences of this mistake include uncontrolled symptoms. If your medication isn't absorbed, your condition, whether it's infection, thyroid imbalance, or another ailment, might worsen. This can lead directly to hospital visits, as unmanaged conditions can spiral into emergencies, forcing you to rely on doctors or even surgical interventions that threaten your mobility. Additionally, medications intended to support bone density might become less effective if regularly taken with calcium-rich beverages like milk. The simple fix is straightforward. Always ask your pharmacist whenever you're prescribed a new medication if it's safe to take with milk. Some medications require an empty stomach or plain water instead. Carefully read prescription labels, as many bottles explicitly warn, take with water, or avoid dairy for 2 hours. Never skip these instructions. Additionally, time your calcium intake strategically. If you rely on milk for calcium, maintain a 2-hour gap before and after taking certain medications, especially if you're on thyroid or antibiotic regimens. Creating a clear pill schedule and using a pill organizer with alarms ensures you take your medications at the right times and with the right beverages. Last but not least, mistake number 7 is something I see all the time in seniors who are trying to be extra careful about bone health but end up overcomplicating things. They forget to watch their overall diet, thinking milk alone can save their bones. Stay with me, I'm unveiling that next. Mistake number 7. Relying on milk alone for bone health, and ignoring the bigger picture. We've heard it from childhood. Milk builds strong bones, but focusing solely on milk while neglecting other nutrients is like trying to build a sturdy house with only one type of material. Your bones need more than just calcium and vitamin D. They need magnesium, potassium, vitamin K, protein, healthy fats, and a wide range of micronutrients. When you pin all your hopes on milk, you might be missing the synergy that truly keeps bones robust. And here's the scary part. Seniors who don't eat a balanced diet often discover, too late, that their bones have been quietly deteriorating for years. One minor slip in the shower or a trip on a curb can lead to a fracture. Suddenly, you're in the hospital, facing surgery or endless physical therapy. Independence? Poof, gone in an instant. Supporting research from the International Osteoporosis Foundation emphasizes that a balanced diet is key to preventing bone density loss. In a 2022 meta-analysis, seniors with a varied intake of vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, and dairy, or fortified dairy alternatives, consistently had better bone density than those relying heavily on a single source of calcium, like milk alone. The consequences of neglecting overall nutrition are serious. Without enough magnesium from nuts, seeds, or whole grains, and vitamin K from leafy greens, calcium can't effectively do its job of strengthening your bones. Muscle weakness also becomes an issue because you need protein from varied sources like beans, fish, or poultry to maintain strong muscles that support your skeletal system. Furthermore, if you're not getting a balanced diet, you may experience fatigue, poor coordination, or slower reflexes, each one a recipe for unexpected falls. Take Marcia, for instance, a 70-year-old who prided herself on drinking 3 glasses of milk a day. But her overall diet lacked green vegetables, beans, or lean proteins. She assumed the milk fully covered her bone health needs. After a minor slip on a wet floor, Marcia suffered a serious ankle fracture. Her doctors discovered she was deficient in vitamin K and magnesium, crucial partners for strong bones. Once she began adding spinach, beans, and lean chicken to her meals alongside her milk, she healed faster and felt more stable on her feet. The simple fix here is straightforward: variety is key. Include leafy greens like spinach or kale, nuts such as almonds or walnuts, seeds like chia and flax, and lean proteins, including chicken, tofu, and fish into your diet regularly. Aim for at least 3 different colors on your plate in each meal, ensuring a broad range of vitamins and minerals. Combine multiple calcium sources such as cheese, in moderation, yogurt, or fortified non-dairy beverages, rather than relying solely on milk. Finally, don't underestimate regular exercise. Weight-bearing activities like light walking or simple step exercises are just as crucial for bone health as nutrients. Your bones adapt and grow stronger when they're regularly challenged. Now you know the pitfalls, and more importantly, how to avoid them. Because here's the truth. One small change today can mean the difference between strolling through the park at 85 or struggling to climb your own stairs at 65. Your bones, your muscles, and your independence are all on the line, but you have so much power to steer your health in the right direction. I want you to imagine a future where you wake up with steady energy, climb out of bed without stiffness, and walk confidently around your home or neighborhood. No fear, no dread of the next misstep or hospital bill. These changes we've discussed, modifying your milk choices, paying closer attention to labels, timing your drinks smartly, mixing up your protein and veggies, and carefully monitoring medication interactions, aren't huge, complicated tasks. They're simple steps you can start implementing right now. If you have a friend, parent, or neighbor who could benefit from these tips, share this video with them right away. Hit the like button if you feel more empowered and knowledgeable about protecting your bone health. Subscribe to our channel, Thrive at 50+, where we regularly share practical, easy-to-follow solutions to help you stay strong, independent, and joyful at every age.